And we ended up crashing right on that pristine golf course in Lake Orion that's supposed to be country club members only. Yeah, we landed right on one of the greens. And I had a woman on my back screaming bloody murder in my ear.
Welcome into this episode of the ROCC Pod, presented for the Royal Oak, Michigan Chamber of Commerce. I am John Gay from Jagging Detroit Podcasts.
I am Lisa Bibby, your neighborhood realtor with Keller Williams Advantage.
Today, our guest is Deb Aliotta from Tri-Pups, providing professional remodeling and repair. Deb, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
I want to hear more about this story about how you crashed in a hot air balloon.
So for my 30th birthday, my mom and her boyfriend followed my boyfriend and I, Chris, when we were on a hot air balloon. It started off in Oxford, and we were floating around, and we crashed into a tree. And there were two other people in the hot air balloon with us that probably shouldn't have been. We were over the weight limit.
Okay.
And we ended up crashing right on that pristine golf course in Lake Orion that's supposed to be country club members only. And the
You're
police
not members?
came. No. Yeah, we landed right on one of the greens. And I had a woman on my back screaming bloody murder in my ear.
Ugh.
And Chris and I were laughing hysterically because it was just such a gentle fall. It was nothing. I mean, it was not scary in the least, in my opinion, but yeah.
If you're going to crash in a hot air balloon, like a green of a golf course, aside from upsetting the golfers, is probably the way to go, right?
Yeah. The company that took us on the hot air balloon ride actually got fined and penalized for it, though. So they lost money on that ride.
With the heat and the rising, if you have too much weight, that it's going to sink.
We were on it for about an hour, and he was trying to steer us back around to land in the same spot that we went up. And that was when he was trying to steer us around that the basket tilted too much, and we ended up falling down. So,
Deb, I like the way that you said you and Chris handled the situation, because life will throw you curveballs. Certainly not everybody has crashed in a hot air balloon, but in the line of work the two of you are in with Tri-Pups, it seems like you have to have that mentality, because as you're building, remodeling, repairing things are going to go wrong. And I feel like you can't take yourself too seriously, or you're going to just lose your mind.
Definitely. I always say when life leaves you lemons, make lemonade, because you never know what you're going to find. You never know what the clients are going to be like. You never understand any of it. We try to be as optimistic as possible and work with everybody in a friendly way as much as possible.
How did you get started in the business and get involved in construction and this whole area?
When I was 14, my dad got me involved in tiling our bathroom. It kind of grew from there. When I was 16, my neighbor next door hired me to paint the outside of their house. And then my brother, who was a year younger, unfortunately, he passed. He started a painting company, and I worked with him for a while. And then my best friend growing up, her and her, at that time, future husband, decided they were going to build a house. And I went out there every weekend for almost 2 years helping them build that. I was in school to be an accountant. I went to Walsh College. I have an accounting degree, and I was doing all this construction stuff on the side in the evenings and weekends, and just really enjoyed it. And the company that I worked for in accounting was sold, and they moved me into a marketing position because everybody had to have a job. It was part of the agreement of the sale. Mm-hmm. I disliked that, and they offered a position for somebody to be a project manager to oversee the new headquarters, and they ended up hiring me because I had become a licensed builder in that interim between college and that point. And I did that for 3 years, and then during the time that I was doing that, Tri-Pups was formed by my life partner, Chris, and we just started doing this as for a living. I phased out of corporate America.
So how long have you had your business? And we'd love to find out a little bit of history of how you came up with the name Tri-Pups.
Okay. So first we started off back in, it'd be like 94, 95, and we just called ourselves D&C Construction because my name's Deb and his name's Chris. Chris didn't have a license, so we put my name first. When we decided we were going to make this our living, we wanted to incorporate and figure out a way to preserve our assets in event something happened. So we went with a corporation. We were going to call it DNC Incorporated. And I'm like, that's boring. We need to do something creative. And we had 3 dogs at the time and woke up at 3:00 in the morning, literally, to use the bathroom. And this brainstorm came to me and said, you know what? We're going to call it Tri-Pups. And by 7:00 in the morning, we knew what we wanted for our logo and everything. And Chris was in a fraternity in Wayne State, and one of his fraternity brothers was a graphic artist, and we contacted him, did an exchange. We put in a storm door in return for him doing all of our graphics, and so it is. And a working dog is a happy dog. So
the tagline came along with everything else, with the logo and the name. It kind of all came together in the middle of the night.
It all did, yes.
Those are the best kind of ideas. In the middle of the night, it's like somebody speaks to you and all of a sudden you've got to make that happen.
Yep.
I love that you guys followed through on that.
Well, thank you.
Middle of the night, in the shower, like random places. Sometimes those bear out the best ideas.
Yes, they do.
So tell us a little bit more about your role and Chris's role and what each of you sort of specialize in working together at Tri-Pups.
Chris is actually the president and technically the owner of the company. He basically does all the estimating. He runs one of the crews. And he does all the accounting, ironically, despite the fact that I have the accounting degree and was an accountant for 9 years. I absolutely despised doing it. So when I got out of accounting, I just decided I wasn't going to do any more accounting, though I get stuck doing everybody's tax returns. My role is I run a crew, and my crew does more of the finish work. Chris's crew does more of the rough carpentry, light plumbing, some light electrical, things that don't really require permit type stuff, because we're not licensed electricians or plumbers. So I do marketing, I do all the hiring, and I do all the scheduling, and I'm the person who answers the phone. So it sounds like we have a secretary, but we're a small company and we don't have a secretary.
I think a lot of our Royal Oak Chamber members are going to relate to that. I can see your phone lighting up as you're sitting here. So I know that Jack and Jill of all trades and kind of wearing many hats, right?
Oh, yes. Many hats. We like to work. We're both workaholics, and we try to stay as efficient and keep the price as low as possible for our clients, but yet we are professional and fully insured and bonded, which most contractors aren't even bonded. So there's a lot of things that we have that are unique. We also have a lot of different software systems that we use that enable us to stay in contact with our clients more so than other contractors. In fact, we use a program called Builder Trend, which from the time somebody calls, they get entered into that software program, and then I can track every call we make with them. I can take photos of anything that goes on at their job sites. We do a log every day that shows all the progress, and it's shared with the homeowner so they can log in and they can see what's going on.
I love that. Yeah, so many people, when they hire a contractor, really don't understand what progress has been made. And especially like if you're doing more of like a new build or a very heavy remodel, I mean, you don't really even see the finished work till the drywall goes up and the paint goes on. But 90% of the work is all in the structure and the walls and the electrical and everything that goes into it. So I love that you're actually keeping the client informed about the progress that you guys are making.
Oh, thank you. A lot of our clients are repeat customers. We don't advertise much. In fact, we really don't advertise at all anymore. But we have clients that will give us the keys to their house. Some people have multiple homes, and they'll give us the keys to multiple houses. But we have their keys, and we're doing the project when they're not even in the area. And that allows them to go on vacation, and they can see the progress as it's happening. And it also shows that, hey, yeah, we are showing up, and we are doing what needs to be done. And we're showing progress with the photos at the beginning and end of each day as well, and whatever happens during the day. So they can kind of get a grasp of, after the project is done and they have a question of what's behind that wall, they have it because they can always log into Buildertrend to see it.
I think that's really interesting because I don't want to stereotype you or your business, Deb, but I think there's this little bit of a preconceived notion of a contractor or anybody doing work on a home of the old school, pencil behind the ear, pen and paper. But the fact that You're using a CRM platform that you're then sharing with your customers so that you can look at it right in front of you instead of, to Lisa's point, oh, where are we at, progress, to be able to just log in and look at it right away is fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we started using it in 2014. Since that time, so in the last 10 years, we've got over 4,000 leads, and some of those leads get converted to sold jobs. We probably have done work for at least 2,000 of those 4,000 leads. It's great. If somebody calls and says, 3 years later, what paint color was used in this room? We can tell you exactly what paint we used. It was Sherwin-Williams, emerald, and the color Dover white.
Oh my gosh, that is priceless.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even tell you how many times somebody goes to repaint and then you ask them, do you know what paint color is? No idea. But you guys are tracking that and you can just go back and find it and order that paint color is phenomenal.
Yeah, we also ask customers at the end of the job if they want to keep the paint or if they want us to take it with us. So if they want to have it so that they have a record of it on their own, they can have that as well. We're all about communication. I know that, like you were saying, contractors have a stereotype of being one and done, and they leave you take your money and you never see them again. We follow up with the clients afterwards. I always send out a thank you card and a reminder that if they have any problems to call us. If you have a problem, we're going to be there. We're going to be there as fast as we can humanly get there. We're not going to leave you hanging, which a lot of contractors do. But our price reflects that. We're not the cheapest company on the block because we operate very professionally. In the industry, a lot of people tend to go with the cheapest quote because they think that's the best quote is the cheapest quote. And that's usually the person who cuts the most corners or is going to skate away and not finish the job or something like that.
Yeah, I know. I've personally recommended you. My clients love working with you. You guys do exceptional work. And I'd love for you to share a little bit more specifically about what kind of jobs you do take on.
Okay. So we're all getting a little bit older. So there's some jobs that we're no longer doing. But we call ourselves a full-service remodeling company. We do commercial and residential. So like from a commercial aspect, we do office build-outs. In fact, we did all the renovations here on this Royal Oak Chamber building. I think that was 2015 that we did all that, 2014. We've done renovations for many years for quite a few other clients. We've had the contract to do work with Comcast for the last 27 years. So we work on the Comcast and Xfinity stores. We do maintenance. So if they have any repairs that need to be done, we can do that. If they have a room that needs to be painted or, somebody punched a hole in the wall accidentally or something like that, we can do that kind of thing.
Or on purpose.
Or on purpose, yes. We can take care of all that kind of stuff. From a residential standpoint, we do additions. We do bathroom and kitchen remodels are kind of our mainstay. We also do basement build-outs. We build decks. We have built sheds, garages. We have built one house from scratch. It's the house that I live in. I will never do that again. We had all kinds of issues with the contractor that did some of the foundation work. Most of our work is done with our crews, our own staff. But if we need to pull permits for the electrical, plumbing, or HVAC, we have companies that we partner with and have partnered with for years. And we work as a team to try to get the job done. Like I said before, it's mostly referrals and repeat customers. So we're able to keep our staff busy. Right now, there are 5 of us working full-time, and there's one person that works part-time for us. So we've stayed small and family-like, and all of us are very close and act like a family. We do a lot of outings together. This past weekend, one of our employees celebrated his 10th year with us, and we went to House Cat Glass and made glass. We made marbles, paperweights, and cups. And that was kind of an interesting experience. And then we went out to dinner to celebrate his anniversary as well.
Nice. Deb, I know previously you were the chamber events coordinator. Lisa's talked about working with you and recommending you and the great work you've done. Can you talk a little bit about your involvement with the chamber and how the chamber has been helpful to Tri-Pups?
Sure. We've been members for over 20 years, exact number I'm not sure of. And we've been very active, doing a lot of the events, going to the morning coffees, the after hours. And we've received quite a few job leads from the chamber, and we've grown a lot of friendships from the chamber. There are several people here within the chamber that we do a lot of things in our personal time with. And we've partnered with, like our roofer, Dale from Lake Point Construction. We met him through the chamber. some of our other subcontractors we've met through other chamber members that have since left the chamber due to retirement, not because they wanted to leave the chamber. I really enjoy doing things with the chamber. For many years, it was kind of our social aspect because we didn't have time to meet people or do things because we
Life
work.
of a small business owner.
Yeah, we work 7 days a week. We're trying to cut back to 5 or 6, but I got involved on the events committee, and at one point I was actually the chair of the events committee and on the board of directors. And I've helped with Royal Oak and Bloom for over 20 years. I'll be helping again this year. I used to work Royal Oak Clay and Glass and the garage sale every year that they had those as well. We really enjoy working with the chamber and meeting all the chamber members and just being a part of the Royal Oak community, which is where our business originally started. We're now based out of Southfield, but we're still active in the Royal Oak community as much as we can be.
Now it is time for our fishbowl question of the day, where we ask a totally random question. John, you want to pull us a good one?
All right, let's take a look here. All right. Deb, what was your first concert?
I went to see Journey and Bryan Adams in 1983, and I'll be going to see Journey this year for their 50th anniversary as well.
Was it Pine Knob? Where was the show? Do you remember?
Joe Louis Arena.
Wow.
Okay.
Yep.
And how fantastic you get to see their 50th reunion.
Yeah. I haven't gone to a concert in a while, but I decided I had to go to the 50th reunion. So.
I have tickets in hand for the twice rescheduled Aerosmith concert at LCA. It's now happening in January. Aerosmith is my favorite band and my first concert, and I've got to see them one more time before they hang it up.
Yeah, it's great.
Lisa, I got to ask, who was your first concert while we're on the topic?
The Steve Miller Band, and it was at Pine Knob.
Steve Miller is going to be part of the Journey thing. Journey, Def Leppard, and Steve Miller will be performing at Comerica Park this summer.
That will be an incredible show.
Yeah.
And it's kind of an odd arrangement.
It is.
A diverse range of musicians.
All from the same era, though.
All same era, yes, but definitely different genres.
Yes.
It'll be a fun crowd.
Yep. I like them all. So I'm looking forward to that show.
That is for sure. Deb, thanks so much for coming on the podcast with us today. If somebody listening wants to reach out to you at Tri-Pups, has a project, or wants to know more about what you do, how do they best find you?
You can either call our phone number at 248-597-2929, or you could go to our Facebook page, look for Tri-Pups, Tri-Pups Incorporated, or you can go to our website, Tri-Pups, Tri-Pups.com. And you can learn more about us. There is a contact us page. You can go there, and if you type in your information, it automatically goes to my phone, and I reach out to whomever it is as soon as I can possibly do it.
Well, it's been great to have you on our show, Debbie. My name is Lisa Bibby. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams Advantage, and I put the real back in realtor. We want you to love where you live. Questions about buying or selling? Call today. My website is soldbylisab.com, and you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram at Sold by Lisa B.
And I am John Gay from Jag in Detroit Podcast. Your problem is marketing. You need to find the new audience for your business. A podcast is a great way to do it. If you have questions about starting a podcast, improving a podcast, or about podcasting in general, or even what a podcast is, you might be new to the podcast world, you can find me online at jagindetroit.com or on social at jagindetroit. We want to thank you for checking out this edition of the ROCC Pod, produced for the Royal Oak, Michigan Chamber of Commerce. For more information about the Chamber and the Chamber events, you can visit royaloakchamber.com. Thanks, everyone.